IVM.
Hi, I'm Zarina Poonawalla, your peak performance coach, life coach, emotional intelligence practitioner, and NLP practitioner. I'm also the founder of Abzo Expertise Unique, and my organization constantly aims at building leaders across continents. After having worked with so many dynamic business honchos, entrepreneurs, startups, CEOs, management gurus, parents, and student communities worldwide, I am convinced that every individual has unleashed potential, and all we really need to do is realize it. Watch the magic unfold, enhance quality of life, relationships, and professions. On my show, be ready for some riveting conversations with inspirational people, snippets, stories, and much more. So here I am on this exceptional journey to find empowerment and inspiration anywhere I can. Come join me on this breathtaking path of self-realization, potential maximization, positivity, and most of all, embrace your inner power. You are on your way to empowering yourselves. Welcome to the Empowering Series with Zarina Poonawalla. Empathy and sympathy. Two words with a two-letter switch changes the entire meaning, feeling, experience, and emotion. Let's understand the difference between these two words. So what is empathy? It is the ability to share another's emotions and feel it. In other words, putting yourself in another person's shoes to understand their perspective and experience what they really feel. In a sentence, it means I understand you. Now, what is sympathy? Feeling sorry or pity for someone or someone's misfortune. When you find someone unfortunate or lesser privileged, you feel sorry for them. Or if there's someone you know who has lost a loved one, you feel sorry for them. You show sympathy. Sometimes you also look at people and think of them in Hindi as we say bichara or bichari and feel pitiful for the life they live. This is sympathy. In a sentence, this would mean, I'm so sorry. Oh, you poor thing. I'm sorry for your loss. The feeling of sympathy makes you feel a great sense of pain. The feeling of empathy can make you feel a great sense of compassion. Now, there is this beautiful story, a short film circulating, and I'd like to take the liberty to share it with all of you. One morning, there was a man sitting on the ground and begging for alms on a very busy city street. This man was old, haggard, quite a vagrant. His shoes were worn out, his clothes were tattered, and to add to his misery, he was also blind. There was a small metal bowl in his hand, and there was a signboard on his side which read, I am blind, please help. He managed to collect a few pennies. However, it wasn't enough. Then a woman who seemed like a professional going to work, very well dressed, crisp and elegant, walked by the beggar. She noticed him sitting and begging. She looked at the signage and then looked at the bowl. She realized he hadn't received much, and suddenly she was struck by inspiration. She turned back to the blind beggar and took the sign into her own hands. After looking at it briefly, she turned it over and wrote something, placed it back and made it visible. And once she was done, she was out about on her way. Eagerly, the beggar listened to the fading sound of the woman's steps. In no time, something really changed. The bowl was filling up much quicker than usual. The blind man could hear the clinking of coins and his bowl filling up like never before. Suddenly, people seemed so very generous. He was curious and wondered, what was it that the woman could have possibly written? By the day's end, the woman was on her way back from work and stopped by the blind man. He sensed it was her and asked her, What did you write on my board? Now this helpful woman replied, And her reply was really astonishing. "Only the truth," she said. I wrote the same thing, only with different words. Do you know what that sign said? It said, "Today is a beautiful day and I cannot see it." The intent for the beggar was the same. He needed money. However, the use of words changed everything for him. The first sentence, "I am blind, please help," implied sympathy. The second sentence, "It is a beautiful day and I cannot see it," implied empathy. This is the beauty of words. This is the simplest yet most beautiful message that delivers the difference between sympathy and empathy. Feeling sorry may make you want to be helpful, but the feeling of empathy grows passion in your heart, makes you a bigger person, gives you the ability to sense another's pain and suffering. "It is a beautiful day and I cannot see it" not only makes you realize the plight of this blind man, but also makes you realize how grateful you must be to be able to see this beautiful day. I truly believe both are important in our world, but we often mistake one for the other. The world around us today needs empathy. Try to understand another. Try to step into somebody's shoes today. Most of all, try to broaden your perspective. In the next episode, I'm going to take you through how you can use empathy when you're flustered and find yourself trying to actually increase that horizon you have. Until then, be safe, be well, be empowered.
If you liked this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram.
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Intel, for coming back to us. We love our sponsors. If you'd like to be one of them, do reach out. So really cool week on the network this week, right? Started off with a bang. Abhijit Ganguly was on Cyrus Says. Funny comedian. I think you guys will enjoy that. We had Dimant Parekh on Advertising is Dead. Dimant's the founder of Better India. Govindraj Athiraj is also on Uncle Please Sit this week. That's a really fascinating show which they talk about fake news. On the Habit Coach, there was a crossover event with Aditi Surana from Absolutely Right. I think you definitely enjoyed that. And last but not least, definitely a show I'd love you all to check out. We have a new show called This Round Is On Me. It's hosted by Gauri Devi Dayal. If you remember, Gauri and I worked on a show together called The Kolaba Cartel a while ago. Fun show. If you haven't checked that out, do check that out. But this is a show where she's talking to a lot of different people in the food space. Her first guest is Harsh Mariwala, legend in his own time. I think you'll really enjoy that show. But with that, we hope to see you again next week.
How many times have you motivated yourself to improve your sleep or lose weight or be more productive? How many times have you failed? Hi, my name is Ashton Doctor. Tune into my show, The Habit Coach Podcast, where we focus on creating small, tiny habits to improve your life instead of those big, impossible tasks. So make listening to me a habit every Monday, Wednesday and Friday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or on your favorite podcasting app.